Hello children and welcome to Brilliance Online Edu Classes. Today I am here with an interesting lesson from Class 12 Flamingo textbook Deep Water. This lesson, Deep Water, is an autobiographical account of the author William Douglas. Let's see the theme of the lesson. William Douglas recalls a misadventure of his childhood. It happens when he was 10 or 11 years old. In order to overcome his fear of water, he had decided to learn to swim. He had an adverse action to water since he was 3 or 4 years. This account shows that how he was finally able to overcome his fear completely and swim for miles. The experience of fear and its conquest made him live intensely. He enjoyed the every moment of his living after he had conquered his fear. So children, in this particular story, William Douglas, who is the author, and this is an autobiographical account, he recalls that how he developed a fear for water because of few experiences in his childhood. But then he decided to overcome that fear when he grew up, and this story talks about how he conquered it. So the theme is basically he is giving a message to the readers that we should conquer our fear, otherwise it is going to chase us. Now, what are the highlights of the prose? Feared water because as a 3 to 4 year old, he went to a beach in California with his father. Waves knocked him down and swept over him. Felt suffocated and frightened. So the first experience which became the reason for his fear for water was when in the age of 3 to 4 years, he went to California with his father on a beach holiday. He was holding his hand with his father and suddenly a huge wave came and he was knocked down and he was completely covered with water. And that feeling of suffocation that he experienced, that somewhere made a shell in his mind that developed a fear for water, right? Now, the second mishap, which had a terrible impact on his fear. When he became of 10 or 11 years, he decided to learn swimming in YMCA pool, right? So he decided to learn swimming, right? And he decided to go to the pool. Why? Because pool is safer as compared to the river. See children, if at all you know how to swim, you know that it is easier to swim in the pool, because there is no additional current or flow of water. But in natural sources of water, there are other challenges also. So it is more difficult. So the pool was 2 to 3 feet deep only. Means it was shallow at the edges, right? But at the other end, it was deeper. That is 9 feet. So how he started the training, he got a pair of wings to learn, and the first time he tried to put his feet, he again remembered his childish fear of that California beach. But slowly he became a little comfortable. Okay. So when did this happen? When he was 10 or 11 year old. Then, in that pool, the terrible misadventure happened. What is that? A big boy threw him into the deep end of the pool. So one day, he actually reached the pool a little early. Nobody was there. So as he was not that good with them and he did not know, it was just a start and he already had a fear for water, so he waited sitting at the edge for others. Now a big boy came. He did not know what is the scenario, whether this fellow knows or not. So he was a little bullying person, so he just just to bully, he picked him up and threw him to the deeper end of the pool. This fellow was frightened, as he was not able to inhale properly and water was also going inside, so his lungs were ready to burst. He decided to hit his feet on the bottom and return like a cork. So he made a plan that when his body would be moving down, right, sinking down, and when he would touch the floor of the pool, he would exert some pressure and he will come up above the surface of water, right, and then he will call someone and he will get saved. But that did not happen, right? Theoretical things and practical things are different. So it did not happen. Gradually he started swallowing more and more of water and was getting choked. He was terribly terrified. After some time he was exhausted. No sound was he was able to listen to also, and no sound of him was audible outside, right? Gradually blackness swept over his brain. Okay, so this is how this fellow, he tried his best to get out from there. He tried his plan also, but nothing happened, and gradually he was getting exhausted. He was inhaling more and more of water, and the things were getting worse. Then, after becoming conscious, so he actually surrendered. He did not know what happened then. He became unconscious, and after becoming conscious, he heard the voice of the boy who had thrown him, right? He was listening to that somebody was talking to that bullying boy, and that bullying boy was giving explanation that I did not know that he doesn't know how to swim and all. Somehow he became a little normal. He went back home. He was feeling very weak. He was trembling with fear. For a few days he was crying because he has seen death so closely, right? He couldn't eat. He was so frightened, and after that he avoided water. Okay? So after that, whenever he went near water, he used to feel very terrified. Right? So in this manner he grew older, but fear never deserted him. It spoiled his holidays because he couldn't go for any water sports or anything like that. One October he decided to overcome the fear. So one October he decided that no, I need to overcome this fear. So what he did is he hired a swimming instructor. And he started practicing swimming, and finally he managed to conquer also, right? Finally he managed to conquer. So this happened years later when he grew up and he realized that, my God, this fear is not leaving me, it's chasing me. And so he decided to take a step and find a solution to this. Then what we get from this lesson, children? We get a very important message. That is, the conclusion of the story is, if we run away from our fears, they grow. So the more you run away, it will grow. And if we fight them, they shrink, they reduce. Right? It happens with many of the topics also of your subjects. You might have realized it, that everyone, as a student I also faced it, that there would be some topic which would make an obstacle, a hurdle in my mind, that no, this is very difficult, I don't know, I won't be able to. And what we do is, we try to leave it for the end, that no, let me finish off other things because this is something I don't know. And children, you all might have experienced it, that fear for that topic makes it more difficult and more troublesome. But instead, if we just face it and get it done, then things become easier, right? So we just have to curb them with right sense of determination, hard work and courage. Then they began to shrink. Okay, so what we have to do is, we have to just take up the right sense. We need to determine ourselves. We'll have to put hard work and courage. The moment we come up with these three qualities, automatically the things will become normal and the fear began to shrink in that manner. Okay? Understood, children? So, this is the basic message of this particular story, that is deep water. So, you need to rethink upon the things that we just now discussed, and if you see the stories aspect and then the conclusion aspect, then it will be easier for you to attempt the questions, and of course you need to read the text now properly so that you will get connected to what all things we discussed. Right children? So, thank you and happy learning.